Okay, I think we're going to get started, and if Anthony joins us, we can do an introduction. So, all right, so we're going to get started. Does everyone have youth council members? Do you guys have your agendas that I sent you? All right, so, okay. So welcome everyone to the first Wakefield Youth Council meeting. It's May 27th, 2020. And I'm calling this meeting to order at 4:03 p.m. The first item on our agenda is introduction. So I thought we could introduce each of the youth council members and myself, and then introduce some of the guests that we have here today. So I'm Catherine Dhingra. I was recently appointed to be the advisor to the first Wakefield Youth Council. And at this time, I'm just going to ask everyone to make sure that they're on mute. And then when I call your name, you can unmute yourself and speak. And if you have something to say, you can just use the raising hand feature on the Zoom. So you guys have probably spent more time on Zoom than I have. So I'm sure you know how to do that. So again, I'm Catherine Dhingra, and I am so excited to get this youth council going. I've had the pleasure of speaking with all of you over the past couple of days to get to know you. So that has been, it's been wonderful. I think we have such an extremely talented, diverse group of young people that are bringing a lot of different perspectives to the youth council. And then we'll soon be joined by middle school members after they have been appointed. So at this time, I'll call your name and you can unmute yourself. Say your name and your grade, and that's about it. So I'm going to start maybe with our juniors. I'll start with Alex. So first and last name and what grade you're in.
Hi, I'm Alex Skeldon, and I'm in junior year.
All right. Alyssa.
Hi, I'm Melissa Toppy, and I'm also a junior.
All right. Anthony is not here yet. Lauren.
Hi, I'm Lauren. I'm in 10th grade.
Okay. And Megan.
Hi, I'm Megan Cohen, and I'm a sophomore.
Emanuela.
Hello, I'm Emanuela Doriso, and I'm a sophomore.
Nick.
Hi, I'm Nick Polari, and I'm a sophomore.
All right. Uma.
Hi, I'm Uma Gerwick, and I'm a sophomore.
All right. I love your Wakefield shirt. Nice.
Thanks.
Yana.
Hi, I'm Yana Herzog, and I'm a sophomore.
All right. And Summer.
Hi, I'm Summer Milski, and I'm a freshman.
Okay, great. All right, so the second item of on our agenda is a welcome from our town administrator, Steve Maio, and then we are lucky to be joined by two of our town councilors that really were behind this, getting this passed through the town council. So I'll turn it over to Steve and then followed by our town councilors.
Thank you very much, Catherine. I want to welcome all you young kids today. And I say young because I'm much older than you are. I do wish this meeting was held outside my office so I could hear you guys. You guys sound like you have so much fun in the other youth meetings that we have around here, but we'll get back there someday. I'm also wearing my Wakefield shirt. I had this in high school. It still fits, I want you to all know. But I do want to tell you that how very proud I am of all of you for taking your time to serve on this very important committee. And we're treating this like every other committee in town, subject to the open meeting laws, which means you're going to have agendas that get posted. You have to take minutes. Your meetings are being recorded. I don't want you to be nervous about that or be scared about that, but I want you to know that we take this very seriously. And we do expect that by the end of the summer, this group will come out with a vaccine that will solve the COVID-19 problem. So after you do that, you can tackle some of the other things. But just want you to know that my office is there for you, and welcome to you all. And you have a great youth leader there in Catherine, and we expect to have some great things from you guys. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Steve. And I understand if you do have to bow out early, but we appreciate you taking the time to welcome the Youth Council. All right, I'll turn it over to Counselor Dombroski.
All right, Catherine, thank you. And first off, congratulations, everyone, in being part of something that I think is going to be very, very exciting. You are really the pioneers for the Youth Council, and I expect some great things to happen with the Youth Council for many years to come. This was a lot of work by a lot of people that came together, and I want to make sure that we especially address Eric Keefe. Eric has been so instrumental in bringing this together. We couldn't have done this, Eric, without your great insight, your guidance, and your leadership. So thank you for that. I recall speaking with Councilor or Vice Chair Smith Galvin from the Town Council, probably, which is well over a year ago now, about the idea of how we can get youth involved in different ways, and we both kind of had that is a priority for us. I know that school committee member Fortier as well was really involved with that. Ms. Parsons as well. There were a lot of people that were really interested in seeing how we could best integrate youth into a lot of what we do. And this is the opportunity for you guys. And I really see it in two ways. One is it allows all of you to be able to have your voices heard and let us know, let the adults know in town, what are your priorities, what you want to see happening. And that's really important because your perspective matters a lot and what you have to say matters a lot. And I know we've had instances already where students have been involved and at the table with us when we've been discussing things, and it really matters. It makes a difference. And I think we've ended up with better projects or better results because of your involvement. So thank you for that. And the other piece of this is it also is a good educational piece. It will allow for all of you to understand how your local government works. You hopefully will be able to take part in other town meetings that we have. We have, finance committee or environmental sustainability committee or so many other committees that really would welcome your input and your insight. And you guys have a different perspective on things, but you're just as important as anyone else living in town. So we want to make sure that Wakefield is a community that's as welcoming for all of you as it is for anyone who might be over the age of 18. And so again, congratulations to all of you for being part of this. If you have any friends or classmates that may be interested, certainly they can continue to be a part of this. And as Catherine had mentioned, hopefully we'll have our 7th and 8th grade members on here very soon as well. We're in the process of making those selections and then adding them on as well. But the more the merrier. And please spread the word that anyone in town ages 13 to 18 can feel free to come before this council and raise any issues or have any discussions about any ideas or any concerns or anything that you might want to talk about. This is your opportunity. And I know that I speak for Vice Chair Smith Galvin in saying that the town council is here to help you all the way through and to be as supportive as we can. So with that, I'll turn it over to Vice Chair Smith Galvin.
Hi, everyone. I'm Julie Smith Galvin, Vice Chair of the Town Council. I think Ed really said most of what I wanted to say, but I'm so excited to see you here. This was an idea that was born from Ms. Parsons and Fortier, and I know Eric got involved, and Ed really helped push it through. So we are very excited to have you here. I just want to say, I don't want to just have all of us bring things to you. I mean, you do have a great perspective. I want you to bring things to us as well. I'm very sure there's things we have thought about, big and small. I don't think there's anything that's that we can't address as a town together. We're definitely going through some trying times. I'm sorry that you're on another Zoom call doing this. I agree with Mr. Maio. It would be wonderful to have you all in one room, and hopefully we'll be back to doing that soon. But I just know from the Environmental Sustainability Committee, where we have some youth representation, it has really enriched not only the experience of the committee, but the outcomes and the actions that we've been able to achieve. So I hold great hope for this committee and remain available to help you one-on-one or as a group, anything that you pursue, and you're in very good hands with Catherine Dhingra. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. And thank you both, for joining us today and making sure that this council came to fruition. So we're really excited to be here. And I know next on the agenda is open for public comments. I don't think we have anyone from the public here except for 3 very important guests who are, we have invited here today because we would not be here without them. So I am going to move to agenda item 4, which is the origins of the Youth Council. And I am going to invite Anne Fortier, our school committee member, Liz Parsons, a parent and community member, and Eric Keefe, one of our youth action team members, to talk a little bit about the origins of the council. So maybe Anne and Liz, you can start, and then Eric, you can talk about how you took it over, working with them.
Sure. Liz, do you want to tell your side of the story?
Sure, I can start. Hi, everyone. Congratulations. I can't stop smiling. I am so excited about the Wakefield's first youth council. And this was long in the making. It was at, I can't remember what, it was, you familiar with Parent University, where your parents and adult family members get to go to Galvin for the day and learn about different things. Well, I attended, I am a Wakefield parent. I have 2 kids in the Greenwood Elementary, and Summer, you are my neighbor. I don't know if you know that. Probably, you look out your backyard and wave at my kids running through the sprinkler right now. I attended Parent University, and Anne and Vice Chair Smith Galvin were giving a presentation about Wakefield Civics 101. Which is basically, about Wakefield government and how it works and how you can get involved. And it occurred to me that we don't have a youth voice in Wakefield in government. And over the past few weeks with this pandemic and just in general in my life, I've been thinking about how, what I can do and what's in my control. And a lot of people have guided me to giving up my power or sharing the power that I have, whether that's as a white person, as an adult. And I really feel like this youth council in Wakefield and the adults in Wakefield taking this step towards establishing a youth council is sharing their power, giving up their power to empower you to make really key decisions and make an impact in Wakefield that, is for youth, by youth, guided and carried out by youth with the support of the adults and the adults in government. So you have a huge opportunity here, and I'm very excited. So anyway, the story was I met Anne at Parent University and suggested or asked, do we have a youth council, or could that be something we could think about? And that's really how it was born. And Anne loved that idea and really took it and talked to Vice Chair Smith Galvin and Councillor Dombroski. We have found, I think, absolute perfect fit with Catherine, whose tremendous work with substance use prevention in the community, and the youth action team has a great track record. So I think you're in excellent hands. I know you are, and I can't wait to see what you do.
Thanks,
so,
Liz. Anne?
Sorry, Catherine. So you guys, really the origin of this really
Oh, Anne, you're freezing up. Right.
She and I met, and then we with other folks and sort of gathered ideas between the 2 of us, and then then Liz decided to bring in Eric. So I'm not sure, have I frozen? Am I frozen? You're good now. Okay, good. Sorry, I just got a little note saying it's stable. So between Liz and I sort of brainstorming and then bringing Eric Keefe into the fold to think about more ideas. of
Unfortunately, Anne is freezing again, so I might turn it over to Eric.
All right, I can go.
Okay, go ahead, Eric.
So for me, I'm part of the youth action team. I'm a junior right now, but I'll be a senior in the fall. So this started as like a summer project for me, where I looked into like neighboring youth committees like throughout our state. And for the next few months, with the help of Liz and Ann, I was able to draft like an outline, and also Catherine was able to help us. And like later on, we met with Mr. Dombroski and Mr. Maio, who are part of the town council, and they kind of like gave us like the right direction. And so the goal of this was to kind of make a platform for youth to be able to like share their ideas, like what they see in school, but also to learn more about like the local government. And eventually in February, we were able to propose this in front of the town council, and this was passed by the board, and I'm very excited to see what this group can do.
All right. Anne, do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, sorry about freezing. Just really briefly, I feel like there's a call to action for you guys to not just represent, you know, yourself and your friends, but to represent the whole of the Wakefield community. The kids that might feel like they don't belong, or the kids who might need additional support, the kids who need a voice. And that's I think where your power comes from. And I'm really looking forward to seeing the great things that you guys are going to move forward.
All right. Thank you, Anne. And I think I mentioned before we started what kind of alluding to what Anne mentioned is I had the opportunity to have a 15 to 20 minute conversation with each of our youth council members. Oh, and there's Anthony. Anthony, I'm glad you were able to join us. So welcome. Anthony, do you want to introduce yourself? Oh, I think he's frozen. So, but Anthony Amatucci is able to join us, and he's in 11th grade. But a lot of what our youth council members said that they were excited about joining the youth council is to really advocate for their peers and to reach out to their peers. And I asked them what are some of the most important topics that you think need to be addressed in Wakefield. And some of the things that came up were around mental health and reducing the stigma around mental health. Some people talked about the design of downtown Wakefield and to make sure it was inclusive. Some people talked about environmental issues. Some people talked about making sure that all activities are available to all youth, despite it doesn't matter what their economic background is, to make sure that we we communicate resources. So there were a lot of really exciting ideas that already came out of those conversations, and we have a lot of talent. Some of our youth have a lot of leadership experience as well. So I'm looking forward to this being the last meeting I really facilitate fully, and kind of more in a back seat in the corner of the Zoom, and our youth will be running the show going forward. So, everyone, our guests are all welcome to stay throughout the rest of the meeting. We are going to move to agenda item number 5, which is kind of an overview of the youth council operating procedures, unless our guests have anything else to say.
I am going to jump off, Catherine, because I want to leave it to the council to really kind of chart its own course. But again, congratulations to all of you for really doing a tremendous service for yourselves, for your classmates, and for the community. So thank you for that. Thank you for your commitment. And I'm really, really excited to see what lies ahead for you. And again, as Vice Chair Smith Galvin said, anything that we can do in the town council, please reach out to us. We want to be partners with you on this. So again, congratulations, everyone, and best of luck with this meeting and others going forward. Thank you.
I think I'm going to jump off as well, just to not have any grown-ups kind of muddying up the waters here. So good to see you all in person, well-ish, person-ish. and have a great first meeting.
Thanks. All right. All right. Bye, Anne. Bye, Julie. All right. Wonderful. All right. So we are left to just the youth council. And Eric. Hi, Eric. I told Eric he can, whenever we want to ask him questions, because he's done a lot of research on a lot of other youth councils, so he can kind of be an advisee to us, because he's spent a lot of time talking to other youth councils and advising, especially in the first days as we get started. So, in the next item in the agenda is the overview of the youth council operating procedures. And I know I sent to you the agenda. So what's going to happen is in future meetings, our chair and our vice chair are going to work to construct the agenda. So that's going to be two of you are going to be the chair and the vice chair. And then we have to make sure the agenda gets posted, because these are public meetings, gets posted to the Town of Wakefield website 72 hours before our meeting. So that's something that we'll work on. What are those agenda items? And definitely I will be helping. I will work with our folks at Town Hall to make sure that those get posted on time. But really is going to be you guys setting the agenda and posting the agenda. So we get the agenda posted. And all of you are going to be real, like Councilor Dombroski and Steve Maio said, you're real official town youth council members. So you're actually going to go and get sworn in at Town Hall, and they have this big fancy book that they put out, and you sign your name, and Betsy Sheeran, our town clerk, will swear you in. So it's really exciting, and I'm hoping to get some pictures of that. And we can get those, you can have those as a memory, and also to show you really do have an important role to play. So once you're sworn in, we have some members that are I think it was based on when your applications came in. Some of you are voting members and some of you are regular members or members at large. So can you raise your hand if you know which one you are? Raise your hand if you think you're a voting member. All right, and raise your hand if you think you're a member at large. Okay, so Anthony and Summer, I think I'll have to look at who else is our third member at large. And then fortunately we did get 6 applications from middle schoolers. So we'll have 3 youth council members that are voting members from the middle school population, and 3 will be members at large. I don't think that's going to make a big difference whether you're a voting member or not. I don't see us having big, thinking about, Eric has his experience with the youth action team. It's not like we tend to, I think you guys, it won't be a huge difference whether you're a voting member or non-voting member. So your term can be 1 year. So for people like Anthony and Alex and Alyssa, maybe, 1 year will probably be it, because then you'll be going off to college. But then the rest of you can decide whether you want to continue another year or we open that slot up to anyone. So we have the number of members, and then you guys will actually going forward be the ones to interview and appoint new members. So this time around it was the town council did it because it was the first, but you guys will actually be the one to do that. So Eric, you have experience doing that for the youth action team. Do you want to speak at all about that?
Yeah, so for the youth action team, usually, so we have 9 youth action team leaders. Usually we split them in half, and so applicants submit like a application, obviously.
Yeah, so
someone was calling me for a second, sorry. And then they come in for an interview and we ask them a few questions, and then shortly after we reach out and let them know if they got the position.
All right, great. So you guys will do something similar. You'll reach out for applications and do the interview process and really take it seriously on making sure you're fulfilling diverse representation of the group. So, and what we do is we want to encourage other youth to participate in meetings. So it won't just be all of you, especially if there's something that's of interest to you, to youth. Maybe it's an environmental issue and I know Uma has some friends that are interested in environmental issues. She might say, okay, you want to participate in this meeting because it's around this, or say they're redoing something at one of the parks and you have some friends that live near there and you want to include them, or you want to figure out a way to include youth that you think might be impacted by a decision. We want to keep these meetings open. So those are some of the overview of the operating procedures. As we said, we're going to follow the Roberts Rules of Order as far as bringing items to a motion and a vote, but we don't have to do that today because you guys, it'll take you. Although, Alex, are you skilled in facilitating meetings with Robert's Rules of Order?
Not particularly.
Oh, shucks. I was counting on your experience. So, but we'll all learn together. So, you know, you might want to watch a few town council meetings just for a little bit. They're kind of long, just to get a sense of that. So we can do that together. We can do that via Zoom and do some trainings on how to run that. So I know this is kind of dry and some of the things, but these are some of the kind of the foundations we need to do in order to kind of get to the fun stuff and get to some of the stuff that's interesting about your role as the youth council. So those are kind of the qualifications, some of the expectations. We're going to meet at least once a month. At the beginning, I said we're going to probably meet every couple of weeks. We need to maintain meeting minutes. So we're going to have a secretary that's in charge of maintaining meeting minutes. Luckily, via Zoom right now, these are recorded so I can go back and take the meeting minutes. But when we start to meet live, we'll have someone that is responsible. So you bring a laptop, or I can set you up with one, and you can take meeting minutes. And we want to make sure those get posted so people can kind of understand in the public what the youth council has been up to and is working on. So you don't have to say take every, so if you're thinking about maybe I want to be secretary, I know, where's Anthony? Oh, Anthony is secretary for the junior class. So he knows, you know, kind of some of the things that you have to do as far as making sure you're recording everything. So we're going to elect a chair and a vice chair. We'll probably do that at the next meeting. So if you're thinking you might be interested in that, I want you to message me either via through email, or you can give me a call if you're interested or you want to talk about it. You're like, oh, you know, I might be interested in that. And then we can do that at the next meeting. And then the chair and the vice chair will run the meetings, okay? So it won't be me. So I know I talked to a lot of you. You guys are wonderful public speakers, by the way. So I think after talking to you, any of you could be the chair or the vice chair of the youth council. So think about it, but you would have to run the meetings. And then you'll help. We're going to create agendas and making sure that we have public participation so any non-members can participate. And then we're going to assign liaisons to other town committees or departments. So this is kind of a fun part too that we'll probably do in the next month or two. So we'll present some of the different town boards and departments, and then you guys will each be a liaison. So we'll have a liaison to, say, the school committee. We'll have a liaison to the recreation commission and the rec department. We'll have a liaison to the health department. So we'll kind of start to learn about some of the different departments and boards. And you guys, you all can indicate what you're interested in. And it'll be nice because not only are you learning about the youth council, but then you'll get to know about another board, and you're going to get to kind of introduce that board to the rest of the youth council and kind of work with them. So does that make sense? Okay, I hate doing all this talking. I can't wait for this to turn over to you guys in the future. And then we're going to invite our town leaders to the meeting so we can kind of keep them up to date or work with them. So that is kind of our roles and responsibilities discussion, item number 6. And item number 7 is our communication strategies. As Mr. Maio said, we are an official town board, so we do have to have our meetings public. So either they're public via Zoom, so these are being recorded and will be put out to the public in case anyone wants to watch. And then when we go back to meeting at town hall, anyone from the public can come to view a meeting. So we might have, you know, someone from the, if there's something on the agenda that the newspaper is interested in, they might come to the youth council meeting and write up a story on that. So that's an example, or someone's interested just learning more about the youth council. So that is our communications so far. But I want to open it up to you all to talk about how you think the best way to communicate as a youth council will be. Because I know working with the youth action team that email is not always the best thing. So does anyone have any suggestions or ideas for ways to communicate as a youth council?
With marching band, there were many ways you communicate through Facebook Messenger, and if everyone does have a Facebook, I was thinking that could possibly be an effective way to just easily communicate between one another.
So Facebook Messenger. Okay. Interesting. I hadn't thought about that. Anyone have thoughts on the Facebook Messenger, pros and cons to that? Raise your hand if you actually have Facebook, because I'm shocked that you guys actually would have Facebook. So Nick, you do not. Emanuela, no. All right. So we can explore that. Any other ideas?
Also, Slack, which is kind of like a workplace type of online site. I don't know if you're familiar. Do you want to explain it, or?
No, I don't use it personally. I know my husband does for work.
Yeah, so I don't know how many of you are familiar with Discord, but it's kind of like the professional version of Discord where it's used for actual, there's an app and there's a browser website, so you can access it on your computer or your phone. Basically, there's different channels you can send people to. So, and it has like an individual server for your group instead of just being like a Facebook wall or whatever.
Does it cost money, Alex?
I'm not sure if there's a premium version, but when we ran it, nobody had to pay any sort of money for it.
Okay. All right. So that's definitely a potential. Eric chimed in with the Remind app, and I think all of you joined that. I sent out a tester the other day because I know. So does that work for people too? If I need to get something out to everyone really quickly? Okay, so to start, I can do Remind app, and I might even just say, check your email, I just sent you something, but do you want me to send you a Remind app if I send you an email? Or how many people are checking their email regularly? Some of you, okay, so I think it's different as you go up in grades. Summer's a freshman, she's like, I don't think, plus you're on Cape Cod, Summer, so we're all jealous of your location right now. Okay, so especially with our middle schoolers, I don't know if they'll be checking their email, and we'll have to see if they all have phones, but we can start with the Remind app as a way to keep in contact with everyone. Okay, and then I think I like that idea of keeping a Slack going. So I think that we'll do Remind for just, hey, we need to get your attention, but maybe for work, we could keep a Slack going. So we'll look into that. And maybe Alex, would you mind doing a presentation for us at our next meeting on how Slack works? Because I know I don't know. And so we'll put you on the agenda for the next.
Sure.
meeting. Excellent. Slack presentation. Excellent. Any other communication things that you think are helpful or ways that you, do you think we should create a Wakefield Youth Council Gmail? Just to have an account in a drive? What do you
I think a drive folder would definitely be really, really helpful in kind of just organizing all the information that we may gather over time.
Yeah, anyone else have opinions on that? Thanks, Anthony. Having a drive folder?
Yeah, I agree with him.
Emmanuel agrees too. Yeah, I see a lot of, we use that for the youth action team, and it's nice because everyone has the sign in and you can just go in and grab the stuff that you need. And I can kind of just dump all the files there. So once you sign, would anyone be interested in setting up our account for the Wakefield Youth Council?
Would we be making an account or just sharing a drive folder? Because you can make
I think
a shared drive.
we would need to create a whole new account. Well, an email account that says like maybe Wakefield Youth Council at Gmail associated with a drive.
You can make a shared drive that and then have multiple people able to access it as well with their existing accounts.
Yeah, well, we can do that too. But I think having an email address that people can reach you guys at too, instead of saying, oh, you know, and that way they don't have to know one of you to feel comfortable emailing with an issue. What do you guys think about that? Okay. Would someone be willing to set up that Gmail account? Or, I mean, I can do it, but.
I can do it.
Who is that, Alyssa?
Yeah.
Okay, so Alyssa's gonna set up and you and I can just touch base on the password and everything. So she's gonna set up our account, and I can send you some starter files, but if you give, in making the password something that we can all remember, I think that'll be helpful. Yeah, as Eric said, it might be helpful for people that are too nervous to call to send an email. And we can talk about communications going forward, but you know, whether you guys want to have social media or anything like that, but that can be something for a later meeting. So that is, anything else on agenda item number 7, communication strategies? Anyone have any other thoughts? Okay, so agenda item number 8 is introductions to town departments. So as I mentioned before, you guys are going to be liaisons to different departments, but it's hard to be a liaison to a department you have no idea under the sun what they do, or you kind of have an idea, but it's probably, you know, it might not be what it really is. Like, I actually started at town hall 6 or 7 years ago, and I didn't know what a lot of the departments in town hall did, and it's actually really interesting. Believe it or not, some of the things, like, there's someone's job to go around and look at people's houses and see like what the value is and how much it can be taxed for and things. And you wouldn't think that's interesting, but that person actually has a really interesting job. And that's another exciting thing too, is that this hopefully experience can expose you to different career paths and different opportunities as well. So what I'd like to do is invite a different town department to each meeting coming up in the future. So our next one, our next meeting will be in a couple of weeks. Is there a specific board or town department that you guys would like to hear from? So some examples are like the Wakefield Board of Health, the Department of Public Works, the Wakefield Police Department, the school committee, the finance committee, the assessor, building department. We have a Human Rights Commission. There are some commissions that actually have youth members. Does anyone have any ideas on some that you'd like to hear from?
School committee might be a good starting point due to our close connection to them.
Okay, so the school committee. Anyone else have any other ideas? I'll need about 3.
I'd like to hear from the environmental committee. I'm not sure what it's called, but I'd like to hear from them.
Okay, so we have the sustainability committee.
I think maybe also the Wakefield Police Department, maybe.
Okay. So Wakefield Police Department, Sustainability Committee, and we actually have an environmental program manager that works for the town, so I could see if she is available too. And the Wakefield Police Department. Because I think it was interesting talking to all of you, because the Wakefield Police Department, there's a lot that they do behind the scenes that would be maybe interesting to some of you. I know some of us talked about mental health and support for young people. And did you know that our police department has a social worker that works and goes around with some of the officers and helps people? Did you guys know that? Yeah, I mean, that's something that like you could learn about. And we also have a recovery coach that helps people struggling with substance use. And we have a domestic violence caseworker who helps with people. So it might be interesting for you to learn about some of that with our police department too. So any other town departments that you'd be interested in learning about?
I think it would be cool to hear from the building committee.
The building committee. So what in particular, Megan, for the building committee?
Well, I think since they're doing a lot of work right now to try to get votes to redo the public safety building, it would be good for kids to know why it needs to be rebuilt so they can talk to their parents about voting yes, and I just think it's a good idea.
Oh, so the new public safety building committee and maybe someone from the permanent building committee. Yeah, maybe we could have 2 guests, maybe a committee and a town department at each meeting, and give them really a short amount of time. What do you guys think about that? A town department and a committee at each meeting. Okay. And I will be, I know adults can, and kids sometimes can, and youth can go on for a while. So I'll be really strict. I'll say, okay, you have, how many minutes should we give them each? What do you think? To present. So we want to keep our meetings an hour. We got 2 groups to hear from.
Probably about like 12 to 15 minutes.
All right, 12 to 15 minutes. Okay. All right, so that is good. So I'll reach out to them, and I think it'll be exciting. And then after maybe we hear from 2 or 3, then you all can start to think about which ones that you want to be the liaisons to. Okay, if you have one early on and you'd like to be that liaison, like, like I definitely want to be the liaison to the police department, let me know, and then I can have you kind of co-do the introduction with me and invite those folks on. Okay. All right, so that's the introductions to the town department. So at our next meet, before I talk about our next meeting date, we want to make sure that we're thinking about how to welcome our middle school members to the next meeting, and then thinking about how we want to do the vote for the chair and the vice chair and secretary. So does anyone have any thoughts on that? Do you want people just to nominate themselves to me for the positions? Or would you like to nominate someone else?
I think it's good to do self-nominations.
Okay, yeah, because
after nominating themselves, like give like maybe an explanation of why they want to do that particular position.
Great, perfect. So if you want to nominate yourself, let me know, and then at the next meeting we can put you in the position to speak about why you would like to be in that position, and then we can do voting, and then and you can say, if I don't if I'm not elected chair, maybe I'd also like to be considered for vice chair and then, or secretary. So those are the 3 positions I'm thinking of. Are there any other positions that you guys can think of right now? Okay, so we'll move forward on that. And then as far as setting our next meeting date, which is agenda item number 9, for now, would 2 weeks from now, would this time work for you? So everyone, Wednesdays at 4, is that going to work for you? So that date is, does anyone have that date for me?
I think that's the 10th.
That's the 10th, yes.
June 10th. Okay, so you guys will still, are you doing online finals?
There will be no finals this school year.
Okay.
We're just cutting off with just, I believe the 17th is the last day.
Okay, so the last day is the 17th. So yeah, that would work out well. So it's June 10th, and then at that point we'll have our middle school members, and we can invite them and then make those decisions. And we'll probably have a couple presentations at that next meeting too. So I'll take these suggestions and ask a couple folks to do presentations. Are there other things that you would like to see on the next agenda? Besides having a couple, so we'll have a couple town presentations, keep them short, and then we can go over a little bit more on how to run these meetings so you start to become a little more comfortable doing votes and stuff. So we'll ease into that. So we'll make sure that happens. And so our next meeting is June 10th at 4 p.m. So any other things that anyone would like to bring up as extra agenda items today, or anything that wasn't on the meeting? Okay, so the only thing I know, I mentioned to a few of you guys that I'm hoping that we can meet in person sometime this summer, even if it's socially distanced outside. I think that's really important. As far as, you know, I would like to do some more team building type activities. I think those are fun. But I just have to figure out how we can do that while running a public meeting at the same time. I just think it's important to kind of get to know all of our different personalities and get to know kind of the strengths and what everyone here is bringing to the table. Because after talking to all of you, I was telling Mr. Maio that I'm just so excited about this first youth council. I think you guys have so many strengths, and I'm excited for meetings to come in the future where I don't have to do all the talking. I'm excited to just listen in. And anything else? Okay, so I am going to try to get a little team builder into our next meeting, even if we have to make our town department heads participate. So we might make the police chief do an emoji challenge or something. So we're going to practice our Robert's Rules of Order. Would anyone like to move by an adjournment to this meeting? So you say aye. Does anyone want to say aye?
Aye.
To adjourn this meeting, Emanuela moves to adjourn the meeting. Does anyone want to second it?
Seconded.
Alex seconds it. All in favor of adjourning this meeting? Raise your hand, say aye. All right, great. We are moving to adjourn this meeting at 4:52 p.m. and we will see you all again on June 10th at 4 p.m. All right, thanks everyone. And if you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to reach out to me via email or text or remind. And if I do send you an email, I'll make sure I send a reminder to tell you to check your email, okay? All right, thank you, everyone. Have a good week and enjoy the nice weather. Get outside.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.